Hi everyone and welcome back to Summer of Series 11 in Forza Horizon 5. This is Speed Races, the last seasonal championship of this week's festival playlist, and it's a Hot Wheels one, so if you don't have the DLC, unfortunately it won't be available to you, but if you do have the DLC, that's your chance to grab a few more points towards your season's progression to speed up getting the rewards, the exclusive cars and all that stuff. The reward for the champ itself is an Autoshow car, the Pontiac GTO, so it may not be as attractive, though if you don't have the car, that means you don't need to buy it from Autoshow. You can get it absolutely for free. As you can see, we are now in the second position, chasing the AI number 1, and the first race is a sprint. The other two, I believe, are circuits in Hot Wheels, which means they're gonna be a bit long, but let's pass this first AI to begin with. That's about 1/3 of the race, and from now on obviously the race is done. I mean, you can't really fail it after you pass the first one, and if you do make a terminal mistake that puts you on the back foot, you can just rewind if you drive solo, as I do today. And yeah, unfortunately I wasn't able to get a company for the co-op session. I tried 3 times in a row to join public co-op and there was nobody there, no players available. I really hope this is due to me joining this championship so late in the week due to my vacation, so that shouldn't be a problem next week, as I'm gonna be back to my usual Forza schedule rather than the delayed one. But yeah, I really hope that's the reason and I won't have the empty lobby next week, because it's gonna be a real shame if I'm not able to do these champs in co-op. They're way more fun that way, and they're also faster because normally you can complete them in 2 races rather than 3, and races in Hot Wheels are pretty long. Now we are finishing the first race, the Nexus Speed Sprint, here in Nexus Hub. First place, as you would expect, and let's move on to the next race. The next race is Nexus Speed Circuit this time. I wonder if it's 3 laps or maybe 2 or 1, I don't know, for a change. No, it's 3 laps, so that's gonna take us a little while. It's a little bit better in S1 class, which is for this seasonal championship restriction, but in general tracks in Hot Wheels are rather long, in particular circuits, much longer than on average in Mexico mainland. So I expect to be past all of the AIs before the first lap is over, and then, well, it's gonna be 2 remaining laps hot lapping, unless I mess it up somewhere, but I don't expect it to happen. And obviously you can see the car performance allows me to catch up with AIs really easily and therefore pass them as well. The tuner I'm running, funny enough, has off-road tires, and I think it's actually built to behave best on dirt tracks, but the Hot Wheels tracks do favor the high-speed builds, and in terms of top speed, this car has everything you need to win over AI. As you can see, I passed the last remaining AI in the beginning of this interesting section, where you need to go up the walls to maintain the momentum, while AI is actually on a serious back foot there, because they really try to stick to the racing line, and that's pretty much the slowest way to go through that portion of the track. I'm not sure how to call that. There's probably a term, especially in Hot Wheels world, how you call those dual banked areas, no idea. But yeah, you basically want to be up the wall opposite to the direction of your corner to maintain the speed and go into the corner like that. Otherwise you'll have to brake all the way to make the turn, or risk flying out of the corner and going still up the wall but at the wrong angle and losing all of your momentum and speed, allowing everyone to pass you. You've probably seen that before on these tracks, or maybe even fell victim to it, as I certainly did more than once. Now we are at about the middle of the second race. I don't even know where AIs are, probably already driven by the rubber band algorithm rather than actual driving. I expect the gap is big enough, and it's also interesting in general in Forza, but in Hot Wheels it's way more pronounced that once you passed the first AI, the steam goes out of them. The gap that you carefully try to minimize in the beginning, you know, catching up corner after corner, suddenly it's as if they had their boost off and the gap starts growing immensely until they fall behind so far that it's just rubber banding that holds them together. I'm not even sure where they are now. Right, anyways, the car restrictions for this champ, by the way, are classic racers, and I looked at the list a little bit. You know, one of the obvious choices that stood out was Shelby Daytona, but that's a super powerful car, very very fast, but it's quite a bit hard to drive. And then I've seen that this Porsche 917 is available in the same category, and as we driven it in monthly rivals not so long ago, I decided to give it a go and see how it performs with an actual proper tune, and I have to say it performs really well. The top speed is there, which is super important here in Hot Wheels, but also handling is quite good. It is not hard to make it into the corner, even though I still hit the walls every now and then, but that's just my driving rather than the car's performance. So yeah, I'm very happy with how it performs. Still a shame that I can't measure it against what other people would have brought to this champ. Would it perform well? Would it not? No idea, and no chance to find out now. For that I'll have to bring it into online racing. You've just seen me doing that same mistake when I was a little bit off in terms of going up the wall and therefore detached from the surface and actually flew down on the road, losing a lot of speed, not dramatically so, but quite a bit. So that's what I was talking about, as a glimpse of AI somewhere really far behind. But actually, with the Hot Wheels tracks being such a web of surfaces that intersect all over the place, it's sometimes hard to actually gauge where the opponent cars are on the map, especially if they are pretty far behind. But that's the end of race 2. Let's move on to the last race. The last race takes us to Dragon's Fall Speed Circuit. Again, another pretty long circuit, but it's one of the breathtaking tracks here in Hot Wheels, a testament to the design effort for the Playground Games design team. I don't know how you design tracks like this. Even, I mean, the regular Hot Wheels track that you can imagine is obviously something you build in your room and things like that, but how do you design the in-game track several kilometers long for high-speed driving with the loops and elevation changes as they do? I don't know. Must have been a ton of work, but also a ton of fun building that and testing it over, and yeah, when I drove this section here for the first time, I literally had to catch my breath afterwards, because even though it's on the game screen, and I'm not particularly afraid of the heights or roller coasters and stuff like that, it's still unbelievably cool to see that in Forza Horizon. And I missed the Horizon 3 Hot Wheels DLC, so I've never experienced Hot Wheels stuff in Forza Horizon, so for me that's double fresh experience. But I think they whatever was there in Horizon 3, they took the best of it and then improved on it further. That's at least what I hear from everybody who played both versions. And now we're just in the very end of the first lap, past the last and final AI. It's interesting also that in online racing in Hot Wheels, all cars are ghosted, which is understandable because the tracks are pretty narrow and the penalty for wall riding is quite severe in terms of absolute speed loss. So you really want to take away the possibility of toxic behavior as much as you can, because otherwise it would be way too easy to mess up with somebody else's race. So that design decision is very, very understandable. What I don't understand is why the same is not done for the co-op modes like Horizon Tour or seasonal championships or overall general co-op races, because right, you can't mess up the race of somebody who you race against, but you very well can mess up the race of your own teammates with whom you work towards your common goal. Go figure. I just wonder if that's an oversight or as conscious design decision, because we've seen that in the Mexico mainland overall as well. Even back in Forza Horizon 4, when certain restrictions to online modes have been introduced, like wall riding penalties, the collision prevention systems, and so on. We've seen them added into the online modes, but not added into the trial or co-op modes. So it was weird to see back then. I still wonder if there's some sort of technical limitation towards that when there's an AI participating in the race. Does introducing all these penalties break something so badly that you cannot make it work when AI is there, or the effort required to make it work is just not worth the outcome? I don't know, but it would be very, very curious to find out. Nonetheless, it does create a funny situation when you can interfere way more with your teammates than opponents. Another thing that I guess I have to mention irritates me is that slow down, the vista view here in Hot Wheels on multiple tracks, when you suddenly slow down to enjoy the view. It's really cool for the first time, but it's not cool for the second time, and even less cool for the 20th time. Which probably would be the count for me on this track in particular. So yeah, those are the things that I would like to see disabled, but I'm not here to complain. We are in the very end of the lap 3, and this seasonal championship comes to its logical end with 3 first places. Very, very easy, to be honest, and so far all the Hot Wheels champs were super easy, much easier than the Mexico mainland. So if you look for easy few points, this is the place to go. Thank you for watching, I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one.